So you mentioned kind of like three different types of campaigns that you work on. Tell me a little bit about like how do you work with someone who comes to you and says, I'm ready to do paid ads. How do you help them figure out like where do I start and what's the first type of campaign that I should do?
So it goes back to like not every client journey is the same, and like that's the nature of where we're at is, it's, if somebody's coming to you with a problem, like you're not just going to sell them a hammer. Like every problem is unique to the business owner.
All right. Hey guys, welcome. Today we are doing our What's Working Now. We're doing it a little bit differently. I've got a couple of our partners here from 97 Display, Zach Adams and Phil Howard, and we are going to talk about digital marketing. So before we get started, just a quick reintroduction to Fitness Revolution and who we are. We are a powerhouse in the fitness industry. We are dedicated to empowering gym owners to build profitable businesses that they are passionate about. And we do that through our coaching, our content, and our proprietary fitness business alignment system. And we also do that by connecting with other partners in the industry who provide really great products and services that help you all run your businesses better. That's why we're here talking to the guys from 97 Display today. So Zach, I'll let you go first and just tell a little bit about yourself and your role in 97.
I'm the director of growth here at 97 Display. So I'm in charge of our sales, our retention, but my background specifically is really in websites and SEO. And so I've done a little bit of everything here at 97 Display. I started out as a support specialist. I then went into onboarding. I jumped into SEO, retention. So I've done a little bit of everything here. And have saw a lot of unique experiences, and so super excited to be here and to share what's going on in 2023, and super exciting time.
Great. Awesome. And Phil, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am Phil Howard, Phil or Philip, depending on when you knew me. But I am the director of advertising and the director of client experience here at 97 Display. Been here a little over 6 years. Similar story to Zach. I started out in the support department, kind of worked my way up there, and then got to start working in our advertising division. Spent some time there, did some other things, and then now back as the director of advertising here. So I get to work a lot with our advertising team and kind of our outbound, our team of business success managers working on outbound strategies for our clients. And so that's pretty much my journey as a whole, and kind of what I'm up to now. So it's been it's been a ride, and it's been a great 6 years.
Great. Well, I know from our relationship and working with you all, I know 97 has experienced a lot of growth over the past several years. So it doesn't surprise me that you all have done a lot of things there and have just kind of continued to progress in your roles there.
Yeah,
I wanted to talk to you all today specifically. So I think the people that we work with, and I think in general, 97 Display is known as the website company. You all build awesome lead generating websites for fitness business owners. But there's another side to the business that we've worked with you all on that I want to talk to you all about today, and that's digital marketing. So tell us a little bit about what you all do at 97 in the digital marketing space, I guess, or Everflow, we'll say, in the digital marketing space, and what platforms do you work with?
I'll chime in here. So to kind of give a little bit of a backstory of Everflow, right? So we've always kind of had a outbound division within 97 Display, and it's kind of always existed, but it was never really the focus. And then, kind of in this post-pandemic world, we kind of saw an opening to really push a lot more, because we all know like a website is something you need to have, but it's there. It's ever evolving, but in this post-pandemic world when businesses are fighting to survive, like they needed leads and leads fast to essentially make ends meet. And so to kind of help differentiate, that's when we created the Everflow brand, so we could kind of fit that need of, hey, like you need explosive growth, you need a lot of leads and a lot of leads quickly. And so that's where the Everflow brand kind of came about, so we could differentiate ourselves a little bit more from the website side of things, and kind of capture a new audience that knew us solely as just the website people. And so that kind of grew and took off through the pandemic. And really the platforms we work on is we've always, Google and Facebook have kind of traditionally been the main platforms we work in. And it's even now, like several years later, have been, the trends still say that Facebook and Google are going to be the same platforms to advertise on. Website, I always say website, Google, and Facebook, you need to have a really good, or Meta now if you really want to split hairs. But those are the main platforms we do work off of, from any type of traffic campaigns to lead generation campaigns to conversion campaigns. Those are the different niches we try and have solutions for our clients. I think it's also worth mentioning too that it doesn't just stop there, because some clients may have all the leads that they can handle. That's awesome. That's great. We have solutions for social media management, because even if you're getting all the leads that you can handle, you still need to have a strong social media presence. And so that's where we have a social media management side of things too, which for all intents and purposes, we still consider, an outbound or a sort of outbound campaign, but it's just a way to stay front of mind and front of your consumers too. So, we like to think of ourselves as a full marketing service. So if you have a need, we have, like, quite frankly, a solution to put in front of you, a plan to help grow your business, because, there's no one size fits all solution. So, but to kind of answer the question, Facebook, Google, Instagram, I kind of wrap that in with that, and then obviously social media management.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned kind of like 3 different types of campaigns that you work on. Tell me a little bit about, like, how do you work with someone who comes to you and says, I'm ready to do paid ads? How do you help them figure out, like, where do I start and what's the first type of campaign that I should do?
Yeah, so it goes back to, like, not every client journey is the same, and like that's the nature of where we're at. Is it's if somebody's coming to you with a problem, like, you're not just going to sell them a hammer. Like, every problem is unique to the business owner. So really where we start, and Zach can speak a lot to, like, the sales side of things, but it's really understanding the client needs, right, and understanding, like, what their business goals are. A lot of times we encounter people that, or business owners that they struggle to get above the threshold of 100 members, and they want to get to like 150, because it allows them to quit their other job or make this more of a full-time thing or a full-time investment, or live a little bit more freer financially. And so, a lot of it goes down to, like, understanding what their sales process is. But typically where we start is with Facebook. That's typically where we always like to start. Again, it all depends on the client journey, but I think Facebook is a good place, because that is really good. You can get a good amount of leads very quickly through there, and depending on your follow-up process, kind of determines a little bit the lead quality there. Now, the knock with Facebook is always the type of leads, and that's to be, that's a very fair statement. However, if you're in this theoretical scenario, if you want to get to 150 members, you're going to need a bunch of leads, right? We also talk with business owners too that, their website converts very well, and they love their website, and they kind of hold on to it. So if we identify that their website is converting very well, then we may start them with Google and start pushing more traffic to their website. At the end of the day, it's all about pushing conversions for the clients, and understanding kind of what their market is, and also understanding what they've tried in the past of what worked, what didn't work, If it didn't work, like what were their reasons why it didn't, or if it did work, like what they thought it was. And so again, like it goes back to like there's no one size fits all solution, but typically where we start is on the Facebook side of things in the scenario where they just want to get, fill up their sales funnel and start going through the process with that.
Yeah, and I will say this too, we've spent a considerable amount of time over the past year, and especially over the past few months, really restructuring how we go about diagnosing whatever the problems would be, to tackle the solution with our clients. We have completely revamped what we call our discovery calls, and discovery phase to include a lot of questions that get down to really like the nitty gritty of what it is that the business is looking to do. Are you looking to, max out your facility? Are you looking to, hire a new front desk worker? Are you looking to have a new location? Like we want to get into those granularities with you from the very beginning to have a good understanding of what it is that you're looking to accomplish there. And then that will allow, what Phil has done a great job at is, being able to, spread out like, okay, like you're telling me you need this, you need high volume, let's go Facebook. Or, you have a great domain and your website's already working really well through us. This might be a safer play and you may want to run the Google option because it's not nearly as volume based, right? So, for those that would hear this and think, wow, like I don't know which of the ones that I need. Is it Facebook, Instagram? Is it this? Should I be running, whatever? We would love to be able to help diagnose that for you. And we're really good at being able to get in there and find out what problems you're looking to solve and us plug in those solutions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I heard that I really like is like, it's not a cookie cutter approach. It's not like everybody who comes to you all, you've got like package A and this is what we're going to do. Because I think like nothing feels worse as a business owner than having a problem and somebody just giving you like their off the shelf solution when you know that you need something more tailored to you. And that's how we work at Fitness Revolution too. We have a huge like diagnostic like assessment process because each business owner is individual. They have individual goals. They run their business uniquely. And you just can't put something off the shelf in their hands. And especially, what we hear about our clients working with different companies who do digital media or digital marketing, that's a big complaint. Like I started with them, but they were running ads that just didn't make sense for me. Or, they started here when I thought we should do this. So I think that's really great to hear that you all have that process and that you've even refined it further because I think that's so important. You want to help somebody reach what success means to them, and I think that that's just so important.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's all about reaching your goals. And, I liken it to going to a mechanic. I'm not a car guy. I don't know a lot about cars, but I always appreciate the ones that are like, okay, like this is the problem. Here's a great solution for you. Let me break this down to you. Like, this is how this works. And, you have other mechanics out there that are just like, they know it. And like, that's just what they're doing. They don't walk you through that process. Like, just like you guys are, we want to be, consultative through that approach alongside you guys, right? Like you are helping with the business ops side of things. And as a preferred partner, you want to know that we're doing the same things you guys are doing, and coming at it from that solution based, rather than just, again, cookie cutter.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I think that's a good transition to like, what trends are you all seeing or what's working right now in digital marketing for the fitness business owners that you work with?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say to put this disclaimer out there that what's working now may not work for everybody. So I can't strongly advocate that enough that, when you're looking at trends or when you're looking at data that, again, there's not that one size fits all solution. I think you gotta beta test or try a bunch of different things to see what does work and what delivers the results. And the reason why I say that is, right now, like the big thing is video content, right? And right now, the big trend that I'm seeing is, video content, whether it be for ads or YouTube ads, TikTok, whatever platforms that utilize that form of content are really like the big trends. And that's what we typically see the lowest like cost per lead or cost per result, depending on your conversion metric. That's really like the big thing right now. And I would be remiss if I didn't touch on this for a little bit before I get back on like, video content or video ads that may seem a little daunting to some people. Like, oh, I don't have good video quality. You know what? That's okay, because like one of the trends that, outside of just like numbers is obviously, and I would be kicking myself if I didn't bring this up, but it's like the use of artificial intelligence in your advertising. And our campaign manager has been playing around a lot with like different advertising tools that are generating video content. And that's another thing that if you don't have good video content, there are AI tools out there that can generate it that look pretty good, that are pretty solid, that are simple as plug in your website URL or plug in just some information. It'll spit out a nice looking 30-second video, and it's easy as that. You don't have to hire a videographer to come in or have to worry about like holding your phone at the right angle or being sure that everything is well lit. It'll just kind of do that right for you. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. But a big trend right now that I am seeing is the use of reels or video content, because I think it allows you to be more authentic to your audience. Because another big trend that we're seeing is people want to resonate with the brand, or they want to feel connected to the services. It's like, can you do for me, right? Mm-hmm. How can you help solve my problem? And I think video content allows users or potential clients to connect a little bit better, especially like keeping it short, sweet, and kind of concise as well. We typically recommend anywhere from around 15 seconds. And that just goes to show like how short user attention span, because, when they're looking at ads, like they're scrolling real quick on their phone, and you only have a short amount of time to capture an audience before they move on to the next thing. And so, it's being really real, authentic, genuine in your content. And I think a lot of people, they get afraid, or maybe afraid or scared, or, oh, it's too hard, it's too time consuming. It's really not. There's a lot of tools out there that you can utilize, and it takes just a quick Google search to find anything that may suit your business needs. And also happy to jump on a call. Personally, you can link my email address or my personal line on here. I'm happy to have a conversation with anybody to help open up the dialogue or the conversation around that. But between our AI and video content, I really think those are going to be like the big trends to start utilizing, specifically with digital advertising.
Yeah, if I could add to that too, it's like one thing that we're working on doing here is like, we're not going to give up that personal touch that got us to the dance, so to speak, right? Like we've been very successful and very with our customer support and our account reps and their expertise. And so I think, it's a blend of both, right? It's working smarter, not harder, but also, we like to make sure that we stay as hands-on as we possibly can, because at the end of the day, we understand too what resonates sometimes over what AI can. So it's a great blend of it where we found a good balance of it. And so I just wanted to add that bit in there too. So it's always a balance. You have to have that human personal, touch and optimization along with that AI.
Right. Yeah. Like human guided AI for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We see the same things, Phil, that you were talking about in video. Specifically, we work with our business owners on creating their marketing strategy. So trying to figure out who they're targeting, where those people are, and really, really like working through who their ideal clients are, their prospects, getting to know them. Because to your point about video, you know, we're working with small businesses and people want to do business with people and they want to feel like they know them and have a connection, and that, you know, all the platforms with reels and videos and everything like that just give you such an amazing opportunity to put your brand, your personality out there. And I think that in like conjunction with a really good digital marketing strategy just makes it even more effective. And really like a good website, all of those things, because people are going to go look you up. They're going to be like, who is this person? What are they all about? And the more that you've got your entire, you know, online presence in alignment with what you're doing, the better your ad results are going to be, for sure.
We very much advocate, especially like with like, you know, your clients. It's like, you guys are very unique. You guys are not cookie cutter yourself, and we don't want to represent you as such. And so let's use good imagery, good video. I was reading a stat the other day that, you know, 80% of the visual is what's retained. That 20% of the written, that's, you know, people like good images, you know, and with our mutual clientele, and there's just something personal about that just resonates with that audience that they should take advantage of.
100%. So now, you know, we know like where the best places are to do paid ads, kind of talked about like what's working right now, but what tells people what's working? So what are some of the things that you all measure? What are you seeing as far as ad performance? And what should people be like paying attention to if they're maybe thinking about doing it or working with somebody else and they're not exactly happy with their results? So yeah, let's talk like numbers.
Yeah. So like right now, and again, it all goes back to, you know, understand, you know, where your clients are, where the best practices is. So really like where we start is, you know, like if we're setting up just like a Facebook campaign, for example, like we're only going to do essentially like news feeds, because that's where people are, you know, they're just scrolling, you know, they don't spend a whole lot of time, you know, looking through, you know, and we'll put some placements in reels, but the majority of the time we're just going to be on like news feeds. So when you're scrolling, things will pop up, it'll catch their attention. Hopefully it's a video and stop. And then they may take a look at it. And then if it's compelling enough, they'll submit their information. So that's typically, you know, when setting up a campaign, like we look specifically for like news feeds placements, because that's typically where we've seen the best cost per result or cost per lead. So, and then like from there, like we really want to do a very concise like copy, right? And so you only have like so many characters, right? And so in the copy, like how we want to position that is, you know, we're looking for this demographic or this type of individual, right? And saying like, hey, if you're here, and that's what gets people to stop. It's like, oh, I'm in this range, or I am this person. I am this mom who needs to find after school activity for my kids, right? And so it's catching that call out, because you only have so much real estate before they, again, keep scrolling, right? So we really look for whatever your opening headline is, you know, and what the call to action. So we look at the imagery. So that's either the image or the video. Really like that first blurb that really catches people's attention, like calling all moms or calling all dads or parents or whatever in there. And then the call to actions like book now or click to learn more, which typically we see the action of like learn more or request more information. You know, that's something that we preach, that, you know, it's less invasive, right? It's more of a question versus like book now or these other things, which tends like, I may not be ready to book, right? And again, it all comes down to beta testing, but typically what we see is, you know, it's being a little less forward and more about like, hey, like, let's see if we're a fit, because, you know, you need to make the best decision that is for you. Just like, you know, we don't want to sell you anything that, you know, isn't going to be right for you, right? Because personal training or small group training isn't, you know, is it's not cheap sometimes. And so, need to be okay with going through the qualification and the booking process. And really like another thing too, like past, this gets more into sales funnels, but what we see in terms of that is having a good, after they filled out their information, like send them to a page where they can book a class, like collect their information first, right? Because you need to secure the lead and be sure that they go into the correct funnel. Or like Calendly or HubSpot or Acuity, like those are great tools to utilize to, if they're ready to take the next step, they'll book that call or they'll book that in-person consultation. And so having a strong, a strong second call to action, right? I think that's a big thing because some people may not be ready there, and that's where your sales process kicks in. But then have that second thing ready to go so you can get them further down the sales funnel. Again, that's kind of on the, on the Facebook side of things. On the Google side of things, it's a lot of the same things, ensuring that, having strong copy, right? So that catches their attention. Google's a little bit more limited in terms of their copy because you do have character limits with a lot of things, but, having a strong call to action that really captivates users. And that really a thing with Google more than anything, and as you probably know, Kelly, is, really monitor like your keywords, like how are people finding you? Google Search Console is a great tool for that when you're running Google campaigns. So like how are people like finding your business like organically, and then tailor your campaign towards that. Because if you're in a bigger area, you're going to have these big box gyms that are going to drive up the cost per click for like personal training near me or personal training in Dallas, personal training in Charlotte. So really monitor those other keywords and figure out like, oh, like I'm getting a lot of search traffic for this keyword, right? Like it might be easier to bid on that because you can get a cheaper cost per click at that point versus like, personal training. That's going to be a very expensive cost per click on a Google. So it's really like monitoring like how your people are finding you. And like that can be a hard thing sometimes. And especially like, we look at campaigns all day, so it's kind of second nature for us. But there are a lot of smart individuals. There are a lot of out there in the space. But like find like the reputable people, like, figure out like how to best position campaigns. And just try a bunch of different things. But, really what we preach, if you want to get to like hard numbers, right? We try and get a cost per lead around $15 from an outbound perspective. That's typically what we find to be around the average, like $15 to $20, somewhere in there. Some people, some clients we work with, they don't mind a higher cost per lead because that means it's just they're more quality. So as a business owner, it's like figuring out like, do you want volume or do you want quality? And then be okay with the results on either end. Because that's one thing that is just being mindful of with like the metrics, right? Because at the end of the day, like, the cost per conversion is kind of king. That's what everybody looks at because that drives the ROI. But I would be remiss if I didn't talk about like relevancy or the how many times like people see your ads, right? That's another thing to monitor is like is to monitor that, because the more times people see your ad, the less it may just be time to update your campaign, right? So if you start seeing, like 4 or 5, people are seeing your ad on about 6 times, it may be due for a refresh, right? Because that ad could have fatigued out, and that's typically falls in line with like cost per lead as well. Those are typically the 2 metrics that we look at. We look at a bunch, but those are typically the 2 metrics we try and look at because we want to, ads aren't set it and forget it. Like it's constantly tweaking. It's constantly looking at what do we need to optimize, and to ensure that you're always front of mind and staying fresh with everybody. So Zach, I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that You covered it all. It's something. One thing that I will say is that that Phil's team has done a great job at is, while it's not set and forget it. There's a delicate balance that you have to play in when it's time to make those changes. And Phil and team have created a very good cohort system, so that folks are not going in and requesting a ton of changes too early, or they're letting things get out of hand and letting their cost per lead get out of hand. They've got a great system in place to make sure that you're in that perfect balance to really keep your campaigns optimized, whether that would be Facebook or Google. And so while it's not set and forget it by any means, that there's a balance, and there's an art to it that they've mastered. And so that's a very important piece to our product.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's like anything, there's so much to know. And it's hard when you're a business owner and you may want to do it on your own, or you may want to hire somebody, but you don't really know, like, how do I know if they're doing a good job, or how do I know if they're targeting the right keywords? Like, to Phil's point, a lot of people like assume they know how people are finding them, but they don't actually know how people are finding them. And those two things can be very different. And you can just be wasting your money if you think that they're looking for one thing and they're actually looking for something else. So I think, like anything, when you're ready to do digital marketing, the investment in working with somebody who knows what they're doing is so important. It's like the ultimate shortcut in trying to figure it all out on your own.
Yeah.
And I think, when you combine it with, we have a lot of clients who work with 97 Display who are getting on the website side, they're getting organic leads, like 10, 20, 30, 40, sometimes plus organic leads to their website a month. And then combining that with the digital side, you can just see how, even though website leads are probably going to be a little bit more qualified, you've got a higher volume, and just work your follow-up and sales process on the paid leads. You've got a really nice lead gen system to grow your business, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else you all want to add? That was great. I think there's a lot of really good stuff in there.
Yeah. I would like to add one thing in there, just because I see this sometimes with, especially like small business owners, like, I run into individuals who, they're ready for that next step, right? And, as I talk with them, and the one common thing is like, yeah, I want to get to like this threshold. And I always ask them the question, like, what's your follow-up process like?
Mm-hmm.
Because with anything with outbound traffic, like, you're going and seeking clients. And the one thing, and this is not to scare anybody, but I think it's always important, like, don't start looking at outbound strategies until you've got a scalable, repeatable process for your follow-up. Because when you start dipping your toes into outbound leads or lead generation, they tend to be less qualified than just direct referrals, like from your current members. They tend to be less qualified than what you get from like a website, because those are people that are actively looking for this. These are people that it's disruptive marketing. Like, they weren't necessarily looking for you. You just happen to pop up because you fit an algorithm. And I think that's one of the things that you guys are doing that I think is great. It's, it's finding all the solutions, and, before you take that next step to grow your business, ensure that your follow-up is set up for success, because these leads will come from these outbound strategies. But where we see a lot of individuals fail is not because the campaign failed to produce results. It failed because they couldn't follow up in a way that could convert these leads, because it's a different sales process. It's a different sales cycle than just a regular organic or referral lead.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to take a brief detour there before we jumped off.
Well, we 100% endorse that detour.
Yeah.
That is something as coaches, we really won't even recommend somebody to start paid ads until they have their follow-up process is like buttoned up and they have a sales process. Because the first thing, if they don't, the first thing you hear are the leads were bad, and it's like, then you find out they sent one email after somebody opted in and it's just not enough. And I think that there's, it's a natural tendency for fitness business owners to not want to bother people, not want to kind of like stick their neck out and be persistent and follow up. But, it takes 5+ follow-ups with a lead that you get through paid marketing before you may even get a response. It may take 12 before you're able to convert them. So, it's not just like okay, I've got an automated text message set up and then I put them in my email marketing autoresponder. Those things just are not enough. So we can talk about that for days over here. But yeah, the follow-up and sales process are, you're not going to be successful no matter what without those.
It's the number one why people quit our advertising services, are by far like the most common one. And so again, like it's we try and vet as much as we can. And it's something that, if we get an inkling, like we'll pull the plug and be like, hey, like we can help you focus over here first because this is more needed. Because you can fill your funnel all day with leads, but if they're not converting, like, or you don't have a system where they will convert, then, it's going to be wasted marketing dollars, and nobody wants that. Nobody wins at that point.
Nope. I'm glad you mentioned that. That is something we believe in very strongly. So awesome.
Perfect.
Great. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. We're going to include contact information for you all below. And if anybody has any questions, definitely reach out to you all. And if anybody has any questions about FR, and if you're struggling with your lead follow-up or your sales process, we have systems for both of those things that are evidence-based and proven. And we'd love to help you with those as well. So it's great. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.